Is it just me, or does it feel like this year just flew on by? Because we're already in December. Can you believe that? December. Where's the year gone? Well, anyway, like I mentioned last week, we're going to be talking about trusting God, and I'm going to be reading the story of Gideon. So, for those of you that have not heard the story of Gideon, today you will. So, without further ado, roll that intro. All right, so like I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be reading the story of Gideon. So I want to hop right into that, and then afterwards we'll kind of explain it a little bit and I'll give my thoughts. So the story is actually found in the book of Judges, Judges chapter 7, and I'm going to be reading verses 1 through 9. And I'm going to be reading the New Living Translation, and I'll have the scriptures up on the screen so you guys can follow along. So let's hop right into it. It says, So Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, and his army got up early and went as far as the spring of Harod. The armies of Midian were camped north of them in the valley near the hill of Moreh. The Lord said to Gideon, You have too many warriors with you. If I let all of you fight the Midianites, the Israelites will boast to me that they saved themselves by their own strength. Therefore, tell the people, whoever is timid or afraid may leave this mountain and go home. So 22,000 of them went home, leaving only 10,000 who were willing to fight. But the Lord told Gideon, There are still too many. Bring them down to the spring, and I will test them to determine who will go with you and who will not. When Gideon took his warriors down to the water, the Lord told him, Divide the men into two groups. In one group, put all those who cup water in their hands and lap it up with their tongues like dogs. In the other group, put all those who kneel down and drink with their mouths in the stream. Only 300 of the men drank from their hands. All the others got down on their knees and drank with their mouths in the stream. The Lord told Gideon, With these 300 men I will rescue you and give you victory over the Midianites. Send all the others home. So Gideon collected the provisions and ram's horns of the other warriors and sent them home, but he kept the 300 men with him. The Midianite camp was in the valley just below Gideon. That night the Lord said, Get up, go down into the Midianite camp, for I have given you victory over them. The reason I find this story so intriguing and profound is because for us as human beings, when we think of war, we think of needing a lot of people. The more people, the better chance of us winning this battle. And yet, here we see in this story that you have 32,000 people with you, and God's like, well, we have to dwindle this down, because if I let all of you fight, you're gonna try to take credit for it yourself. And I want to get the glory because I'm God. So he told them, get rid of the people who are afraid. And then 10,000 are left, and he said that's still too many. Leaves him with 300. 300 men. That's it. Leads me to think about how many of us trust God when we don't know what he's doing. We don't know his plan. If we walk this into our lives when loved ones or close friends leave, or we are taken and put in a different area, a different place, uprooted and moved, how many of us actually trust God? When we lose a job, that say we're really good at. We are excellent. We know the ins and outs of everything, and we thoroughly enjoy our job. And then all of a sudden, here comes budget cuts, and you were one of the ones that they had to let go. And you don't understand why. When this stuff gets taken out of our lives, do we trust God? Or do we immediately go, why God? Why are you doing this to me? It's not fair. I don't understand it. And how can you do this to me? I had a great life. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. God has a plan for our lives. And yes, we have the freedom of choice to pick our own path. But he tries to direct us on the path that would be the most beneficial to us. And sometimes he will get involved. He will take people away, take certain places away, certain jobs away, close certain doors until we get the hint that we're supposed to go here and go down this path, because we are needed to maybe reach somebody else, minister to somebody else. But if we make this even more personal and think about loved ones or friends that say we lose to, like, that pass away because of cancer or whatever the case may be, some sort of car accident, whatever the case may be, we're thinking to ourselves, well, how can that be God's plan? How can we trust God when we lose somebody like that, somebody close? None of this stuff surprises God. The bad things that happen, none of this stuff surprises God. We live in a sinful world, so the bad things will happen. It's promised that we will experience trials in the Bible. But we have to trust that God can use our pain for a purpose. We have to trust God that he can take our pain and he can turn it into something, into a masterpiece. Our pain might be part of our testimony, but not necessarily our purpose. It's part of what happened to us. Yes, it's part of our story, but it's not necessarily our purpose. Our purpose can come from our pain if we let it. If we let God and trust God to let him use our pain for a purpose, for his purpose. But we have to relinquish control. We have to let him drive, him direct our lives. That involves trust. To trust that he knows best. Because for some of us, we might say, oh, I trust God, but we don't act like we trust God. We trust God as long as everything's good and everything's going great for us. The doors are opening, things are happening, things are moving and things are clicking. And as soon as there's a roadblock that happens and things kind of come to an abrupt halt and life changes, then we find it tough to trust God. Tough to understand that what he's doing, or even if he's not doing it per se, that he's allowing it to happen. The story of Job, he allowed Satan to take all this stuff away. We have to trust that he knows what he's doing. He is God. We don't need to have the answers to everything. We just need to trust that he knows what's best. So I hope this helps somebody to hopefully evaluate your life a little bit, that the point of view in which we look at things, that we need to trust God some more. Especially if we call ourselves Christians, we need to trust God some more. Not just in the good times, but in the bad as well. Maybe instead of asking the question, why God? Why? Perhaps maybe ask the question, what? What, God, are you trying to teach me in this? What is the purpose or the goal? What do I need to learn from this pain? So I wanted to bring this up to you to kind of encourage you, challenge you, and just make you think that sometimes the subtractions that we experience in our life is maybe a way and an opportunity in which we learn to trust God some more. Instead of running away from God, how about run to Him? Instead of turning away from Him, turn to Him. He knows. He's a good Father. And He will take care of you. But you have to trust Him. So, let's all learn to trust God more and better. To relinquish control. To let Him direct our path. Let Him direct our life. Where He plants us, where He puts us, the people that He puts in our lives, the jobs that we take. Let Him open the doors. Let Him lead. He knows. So thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. And comment below, let me know your thoughts. And stay tuned for next week's episode because that's going to be a good one. So until then, as always, stay safe and be blessed.